Hey everyone, welcome. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been so stressed out with studies, exams, just life, that you wished you could just disappear into a different time? A simpler time? Well, that exact feeling is what we're diving into today with Jack Finney's The Third Level. Now, this isn't your typical story. It's this amazing blend of science fiction and a really deep look into the human mind. So let's get into it.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about the big mystery. What on earth is this third level? Then, we're going to follow our main character, Charlie, on his wild journey. After that, and this is super important for your exams, we'll get into the psychology of it all. We'll figure out why we sometimes feel the need to escape, and we'll wrap up with the story's big message for every single one of us.
All right, part 1, the mysterious third level. This is really the heart of the conflict that kicks off the entire story. Let's see what it's all about.
So let me ask you again seriously. Have you ever felt just completely overwhelmed by modern life? You know, the constant pressure, the noise, the feeling that you always have to be doing something? Ever just wish you could step into a quieter, simpler time? I bet you have. Well, our main character, Charlie, doesn't just wish for it. He believes he's actually found a way to do it. And right here, this is the core problem of the story. On one side, you have reality, hard facts. The people who run the railroads, the official blueprints, they all say Grand Central Station has 2 levels. Period. But then you have Charlie, our 31-year-old protagonist, who walks in and says, nope, you're all wrong. There's a secret third level, and guess what? I've been there. It's this impossible claim that starts everything.
So let's move on to Charlie's strange journey. What exactly did he find on this supposed third level? Because let me tell you, it wasn't just another set of train tracks. It was a whole different world. According to Charlie, when he found this third level, it was like stepping into a time machine. Everything, and I mean everything, looked like it was from the 1890s. Just try to picture that for a second. One minute you're in the middle of bustling modern New York, and the next you've gone down some stairs and traveled back more than a century.
And look at how specific Charlie's descriptions are. This is so important. He doesn't just say it seemed old. No, he gives us these tiny, perfect details. The ticket windows were smaller and made of wood. The lights were flickering open-flame gas lights, not harsh electric ones. There were even brass spittoons on the floor. And the people, men with those big sideburns and handlebar mustaches, women in dresses with puffy sleeves. Every single detail just screams the 1890s.
So this leads us to the biggest question of all. Is the third level a real place? Or is it all just happening inside Charlie's head? This is where the story shifts from just a cool mystery into a really fascinating psychological study. And to understand it, we need to hear from Charlie's psychiatrist friend.
So Charlie goes to his friend, the psychiatrist, all excited about this amazing discovery. And this is the response he gets. It was a waking dream wish fulfillment. Now, class, I want you to underline this phrase in your minds. It is the absolute key to understanding the entire chapter. What his friend is saying is, Charlie, the third level isn't real. It's something your mind made up because you desperately wanted to escape.
So what in the world is waking dream wish fulfillment? It's a term you really need to know for your exams. It's pretty simple, actually. It's when you're awake, not sleeping, but you want something so badly that your imagination creates a little fantasy world where that wish comes true. You're fulfilling your wish, but it's all in a daydream. It's a mental escape. And here's the perfect way to understand it. Think about a student who just keeps imagining themselves topping the exams, thinking about how proud everyone will be, but they never actually sit down and study. That daydream? That's the wish fulfillment. But since there's no action, it stays a waking dream. It feels good, but it's not real.
Okay, so if the third level is just a mental escape, the next obvious question is, what is Charlie escaping from? What's so bad about his life that his brain had to invent a whole new level of a train station?
And the answer, according to the psychiatrist, is very simple. Charlie is unhappy. He's just not coping well with the modern world. He feels stressed, anxious, and trapped. So his mind did him a favor in a way. It created the perfect escape route, the third level, a doorway to what he imagines was a more peaceful, simple time.
And what are these modern world pressures? Well, the story lists them out for us. Insecurity, fear, war, worry, and stress. Sound familiar? These are things we all deal with, right? Worrying about the future, the stress of getting things done. For Charlie, it seems these feelings just got to be too much to handle.
Now, the psychiatrist also makes another brilliant point. He says we all find ways to escape. For Charlie, it's also his hobby of stamp collecting. The psychiatrist calls this a temporary refuge from reality. And hobbies are good for us. They give us a much-needed break.
But that word, temporary, is the key. It's a temporary fix. It doesn't solve the real underlying problem. The stress and unhappiness are still waiting for you when you're done.
And that brings us to our last and, honestly, our most important section, facing your challenges. After everything we've learned, what's the real lesson here? What's the main takeaway from this chapter that we can apply to our own lives?
At the end of the day, the message is incredibly simple, but also incredibly powerful. The story uses Charlie's fantasy to teach us that running away from our problems, whether it's into a hobby or a fantasy world, is never a real solution. The true path, the harder but better path, is to turn around and face your reality.
So how do we do that? Well, the story kind of gives us a blueprint. Step 1 is to accept. Just acknowledge where you are and what your challenges are, without trying to pretend they don't exist. Step 2, and this is the game changer, act. Instead of just daydreaming about getting good grades, you make a study plan and follow it. You take action. And finally, step 3, engage. Be here, now. Live in the present moment instead of wasting all your energy wishing you were somewhere else.
So the story leaves us all with this one big question to think about. Is it better to spend your energy searching for an imaginary third level, a fantasy world to escape to? Or is it better to take on the challenge of building a real life, right here and now, that you can actually be proud of? And that's our deep dive into the third level. It's such a great story because it's not just about a train station. It's about us and how we deal with life. I really hope this explanation helped you out. If it did, you know what to do. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to @the Ace Archive for more breakdowns like this one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next chapter.